El hip hop en Chile llegó a partir de 1984 con las películas de movie de
in 1984 with the breakdance movies, with B Street
Breakdance
and Breaking.
No más.
Those were the two movies.
Había un gobierno militar.
There was a military
no había
dictatorship.
Información fresca.
So there was
no había
no access to information or culture.
Muy poco.
So very little.
Solo llegó la película.
But those two movies arrived.
Así que a través de la película
so from that movie,
se empezó a contagiar el break.
People started getting the dance, became more contagious.
Poblaciones,
in the poor neighborhoods.
Y de ahí nos fuimos colgando a entender los cantantes.
And we started trying to figure out who were the MCs.
Ice-T, Situación Frenética, Fright Situation, Africa Bambata, Kumudi, los nombres de los que
they started figuring out the names of
from the
soundtracks
de las películas.
Of the movies.
Of those movies, right.
Así pudimos entender de a poco
then they started figuring out
lo que era esto.
That what this was, that it wasn't just movies, not just dancing.
Claro. Con la masificación comprendimos la historia mejor de cómo nace aquí.
We started understanding or getting an understanding of how it was born here.
Y como siempre es tan difícil encontrarse porque somos tan lejanos.
And so since we're so far away and it's so
hablar con alguien
we never get
como
to
tú,
talk to
que
people from
donde
like
no había
yourself,
nada, donde ustedes parten. Mi
where you guys
pregunta
started with
como
something.
b-boys y como rapper.
My first question, like b-boy as an MC.
¿Cómo empezaste a rapear? ¿Por
like,
qué?
Why did you start rapping? What were your influences?
¿Cómo empezaste tú a rapear? ¿Por qué?
How did you start to rap?
¿Por qué empezaste a rapear?
Why did you start to rap?
I started to rap because I was a DJ at first. I was a DJ, and every DJ has a microphone to like make announcements at parties. And that's what the mic was used for. And when people started to like embellish those announcements, say a little something funny along with it, you know what I mean, or make it rhyme or something, that was the beginning of rap and rhyming. I started to do it because I was the DJ, I had the mic, I was the best at it. Even when I had other MCs, I was better, you know, than the MCs I had with me. So if we was gonna be in a competitive situation, I had to beat it. I had to rap because, you know what I mean? I was better than everybody. So basically that's why I did it. And because when I used to DJ and have a routine, the DJ always used to fuck me up. Every time I used to do a rap and then the music's supposed to come in, the DJ would miss the cue and just mess up the whole thing. So I started DJing for myself and rapping at the same time. You know what I mean? So that's really why I really started getting more into rap than DJing. And then when I joined the Cold Crush Brothers, I didn't have to DJ. We had two DJs, Charlie Chase, Tony Tone. My job was to write the routines and rhymes and get the MCs into shape. And that's what I did.
¿Qué edad tenías tú cuando vivías aquí?
Were you living already here in the Bronx?
Fuiste a la calle y empezaste a juntar con quién? ¿Cómo fue eso como?
Like how did you start as a young man?
I was 13. I was 13 years old when the first documented hip hop party was given. August 11, 1973, and that party was given like 4 blocks from my house. So the place that we recognize as where hip hop started, I lived a block up the block. So I got it early. How I got involved, basically it was dancing as a b-boy, because there was a crew that on Sedgwick Avenue called the Casanova Crew, and they was all b-boys. And I thought that shit was so cool, and you know what I mean, just the Casanova thing itself that I wanted in. So I started dancing, I became Casanova Fly. That's where I got my name from. You know, my hip hop name before I shortened it to Caz. So I was 13, I got involved dancing at first and became a DJ later on and then an MC.
He sabido que el rap como música se ha separado del hip hop cultura.
I've known that rap as music has kind of become a little bit separate from hip hop culture in some ways.
Sí, entonces, bajo su visión, hoy día, después de mucho tiempo,
after much time,
la pregunta es, ¿quedan MCs en el hip hop, MCs transmisores de la cultura hip hop, o ahora solo hay rap que no tiene que ver con la cultura?
Still here?
There are MCs here in America that still, hold true to the tradition of the MC and what MCing is about. There are those of us that would still do this if there was no money involved, because we do it for the love and the respect of the art form. You know what I mean? We do it. It's our voice. It's our way of self-expression, and because money kind of took over the game, that bred a whole new generation of MCs that are just in it for the money. So as far as the purity of the MC, you take away the money and see how many people will still be involved. And that's where you get those MCs. And those are the people that are still around today, that are still preaching the gospel of hip hop, all the elements of hip hop, not just rap. You know what I mean? But most of those artists remain underground, or like the battle MCs or something like that. Not the guys who, try to get a hot beat and do what everybody else is doing. That's the difference between rappers and MCs. You know what I mean? MCs are more hip hop orientated and rappers are for the business.
Yo sé que originalmente para la gente que vive en Mayor, en el Bronx, el rap y el hip hop era algo que solamente se podía vivir en estas calles, pero se fue por todo el mundo. ¿Qué le pasa a él cuando le dicen que hay rap japonés, chino, chileno, vietnamita?
I think it's great. It just validates us doing it in the first place. All the people who said it was frivolous and we would never get anywhere doing it, like we were wasting our time doing, this evolved into an entire culture and then into a multi-billion-dollar business, you know what I mean? So and the fact that every time people get exposed to it, they latch on to it as well, just validates the fact that, hey, we did the right thing when we start doing this shit. We latched on to something. We did something that everybody digs, that the world digs, that the world can get something out of. So yeah, it just validates when Japanese people are rapping, and when Australians and when Chileans and when the world raps, man, that's a good reflection on us. It means that we did something good. We innovated something that the world can identify with.
El hip hop, cuando nace para nosotros, y yo me imagino que para todos los que somos parte de esto, vino como a ser un antídoto a la miseria, a la pobreza y al mundo que se vivía en ese tiempo. Él hoy día, en este mundo que hoy día es tan conflictivo, que está tan globalizado, y está tan polarizado políticamente con racismo y todo, si él cree que aún el hip hop puede remediar cosas en los barrios del mundo.
You know what? I really don't think today it does that. It's that effective on this generation, because I think the things that are hovering over us now are so devastating. They kind of take precedence over all of that. That what's going on in the world right now is way more important than hip hop. You know what I mean? As a culture, no, but as a business and as all that, you know what I mean? What's going on right now is way more important than hip hop is, and I don't think that hip hop will affect or relieve, the ills that are going on in our country right now. Especially with the crop of of artists that are out here now. Yeah. That's not really where you get your relief from. You know what I mean? You might dance a little bit, you know what I mean? But we don't have enough politically savvy or well-read messengers out there, today to affect or to give us that calming effect. Okay, it's cool, it's gonna be good. Because when hip hop started, all our fucking buildings was burnt down. When hip hop first started, we came somewhat out of the kind of conditions, you know what I mean, that maybe not a dictatorship, but we were like the poorest of the poor. The Bronx was burnt down. We was playing in abandoned buildings out here when hip hop started. That's what hip hop grew from. You know what I mean? So those conditions that built hip hop, okay, aren't here anymore. The people affected by those conditions, like me, yeah, I'm here, but I'm not calling shots in hip hop today. commercially. Culturally, it may be, you know what I mean, to those who look towards us like yourself, you know what I mean, and respect us as those forefathers, you know, will have that kind of say. But as far as the, you know, as far as the climate of the, you know, what you hear all the time, we don't affect that as much.
Bien, hermano. Thank you. Un ejercicio así también para la gente que va a ver esto también. Entonces, si pudiéramos, si él pudiera nombrar cinco personajes que son fundamentales para el hip hop, ya sea como rappers, b-boys, grafiteros, DJ o MC, ¿a quién nombraría si tuviera que nombrar a cinco?
Good question.
One.
I have to say Kool Herc.
Kool Herc.
He's recognized as the father of hip hop. He influenced me and my whole generation, you know, of hip hop, you know, from Bambaataa to Flash and all that. We all looked up to him, you know what I mean? Not to say if he wasn't around, but we saw him and was like, ooh, I want to do that. You know what I mean? And everybody else was out of our reach. So I would say Kool Herc, you know what I mean? I would say, I would have to say Russell Simmons, because Russell Simmons, I mean, exploited the culture to the masses, created one of the biggest record companies, put some of the best artists and music out for decades for Def Jam. You gotta make him, he's a part of that. He's part of the business, but still, it catapulted the culture forward. It's not an easy question because in every category there's like 5 different people who definitely affected the culture. And if you're going from now all the way through till today, that's way more than 5 people. You know, Public Enemy, Jazzy Jeff was the DJ that started the turntablist revolution. You know what I mean? You can't Cash Money out there in Philly. You had a few couple, but DJ Jazzy Jeff revolutionized turntablism. Okay? So, you know, I gotta put that out there, you know what I mean? He definitely, I mean, even to this day. And he inspired some of the greatest DJs that's out to this day. They all started watching him and was like, okay, now I'm going beyond that. I have to give it to Jeff on the DJ side. But there's a whole lot of DJs I can name. I think Jay-Z did a lot for hip hop too, to bring hip hop back to hip hop's consciousness back to New York City, back to the East Coast. I think just by example, he kept hip hop alive. He was like the Michael Jordan, the hip hop, when the NBA was dying and Bird and Magic came in. You know, Jay was like that, bringing hip hop back to the forefront of the East Coast. He, artist to business person, he created the you know what I mean? So yeah, Jay, I gotta give Jay credit for that. You know what I mean? He's almost a billionaire in hip hop. How could you take from that? And damn, it has to be somebody. I mean, writers. There's people, you know, writers and artists, and that was 4. I'll say me.
There you go.
I'll say me. Ever since the beginning, all the way to the day, people are still, you know what I mean, taking stuff from me. You know what I mean? And you can hear it in people's music, in people's conversations, in people's, you know what I mean? I can see me all in. I can hear the things I've said, and they you know what I mean? So it's like I continue to influence the culture. So yes, I'll throw myself in there. Number 5.
Africa Bambaataa, GrandMaster Caz.
Yeah, everybody goes Herc, Flash, Bambaataa. No, that's the clinical answer. But the way you ask the question
is all time
deserves a different kind of answer as well. So yeah, a lot of times people think that's the quintessential answer. You top 5 MCs, they always say the same.
Same one,
you know what I mean? Well, the first Trinity, of course, me, Mo D, Mel, and then they go to the Rakim, KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, like that.
Como para poder finalizar un poco y agradecerte también que hayas venido a conversar con nosotros.
It's an honor for you to come.
Estamos tan lejos.
Love is love, my honor. Thank
We're
you.
so far away.
¿qué le puedes decir a la gente, a las nuevas generaciones de hip hopper, de generaciones que van a partir ahora con 10 años, 15, 20? ¿Qué es lo bueno del hip hop y qué también es lo que no deben hacer que sucedió?
Basically, okay, follow your heart and follow your art. You understand what I'm saying? If you do this, then understand what it is that you're doing and research, you know, people who've done it, who've brought it up to where it is, to where you wanted to get involved. You know what I mean? Because it only adds on to you when you know about people who came before you and why you're doing what you're doing. You understand what I'm saying? So after that, after you get all that information, you got your passion, you got your drive, okay? Then add yourself into hip hop. Add yourself into hip hop. Bring you into hip hop. Add something to hip hop. Don't start doing what everybody doing. No. Add you. Bring a breath of fresh air. Bring your own ideas. Bring your own what you feel. Bring it to hip hop. You bring that to hip hop.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. One love.
Yes, sir.
Tremendo maestro, hermano.
Yeah.
Un hombre sabio, un Jedi sabe.
You're a Jedi, he says.
¿Qué edad tiene este man?
He says, how old are you?
58.
58.
Sí,
¿Y tú?
Yo tengo 48.
48.
Okay.
Sí.
Thank you.
Un gustazo conocerte, ¿verdad? Yo soñé con conocer este lugar desde allá,
He said, I dreamed about
desde mi
coming
adolescencia b-boy,
here. Since I was an adolescent, I was a
Wow.
b-boy. I
viendo
dreamed
la
about
escena, los videos,
He's like the videos, the
imaginándome
scenes.
las fotografías, los
He's like the
vinilos,
pictures,
las
vinyls.
revistas, hermano.
He's like, bless you, brother.
Welcome.
He said, bienvenido.
All right.
Yeah.